In a world filled with sniveling snowflakes, where timeouts and safe places are abundant, where there's 37 genders to scroll through in a job application. Not that they have jobs. We're proud to be your salvation and your beacon to unabashed, in-your-face talk. This is Stars, Bars, and Cigars, the no-holds-barred conservative talk show hosted by battle-tested vets. Lock and load and get ready for an explosive journey through breaking news, the rich tapestry of constitutional history, and the pulse-pounding realities of Army and Navy life. Oh, and yeah, cigars. Stars, Bars, and Cigars. And now your hosts, Jimmy the Bull and Tig Tigger.
Hey, Patriots and Snowflakes. Tig, how are ya?
Great, Bull. How the hell are you?
I'm doing well.
Nice hat.
Yeah,
Nice cowboy hat
too, man.
Red, white,
Stay
blue, stars
frosty.
and stripes. Stay frosty. Yeah, stay frosty.
Yeah,
stay
I
salty.
figured, hey, Stars and Bars,
Yeah.
I'm like, saw this at the truck stop, had a good price. I went with it.
Yeah, I like that.
It's nice. It's actually a pretty nice constructed hat. I mean, it's not a bad hat for $8. I couldn't complain.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So and for all the grunts, those past, present, all those grunts, they know what stay frosty means. You know.
Oh, absolutely. Stay salty too.
Yeah. Stay frosty and stay salty. Yeah, you all know what that means. Come on now.
Yes,
all
sir.
you vets. Yes.
So tonight we are going to discuss, is your 2A under fire again?
Heavy topic for me, especially.
Yeah, so we'll dive into this subject, but first, Tig, what are you smoking?
All right, well, let's see this nice little cigar right here, the New World. It's got a nice little ribbon. I have not lit it up yet because I wanted to show with the ribbon.
Nice.
This is a New World Almirante Bellicoso. It's by AJ Fernandez, who makes very good cigars, by the way.
Yeah.
This is a 5.5 incher with a 55 gauge. It's kind of like a Robusto, but this is a torpedo because, of the torpedo-like tip.
Yeah.
And it's about $8 or $9 a stick, so it's relatively nice, reasonable priced cigar. It's smooth. It's got a smooth and complex taste. It's supposed to be earthy, tastes espresso and spice with sweet hints of dark chocolate. I've had New Worlds before, by the way, but never really did too much onto it as far as research. New World was launched back in 2014, folks. It's both affordable and flavorful, as I mentioned. It's a medium to full-bodied. The stick's name, New World, is inspired by the discovery of tobacco in the New World by Christopher Columbus. Some of you libtards don't like Christopher Columbus, but suck it. Anyway, in 1492, cigar, discovery of tobacco in 1492 in the New World, discovered by Christopher Columbus. It is lightly box pressed, as you can see, as we see, it's got that box pressed look. A Nicaraguan Puro. It's handmade in Esteli, Nicaragua, with a dark Maduro Nicaraguan wrapper. Its binder is from Jalapa. It's either Jalapa or Jalapa. I don't know. I can't pronounce that. The fillers from Ometep, Condega, and Esteli, all from, I guess, Nicaraguan cities, right?
Yeah.
So this aims to be a good cigar. I think I had a New World before. It was a different style, and it wasn't bad, but I can't remember the whole flavor on it. So, we're going to give this baby a whirl. And really what's cool about this is there's a picture on the front of it with all three Christopher Columbus boats, I believe, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, with I think what looks like Christopher Columbus. I don't know. It's a little picture there.
Kind of looks like it.
Yeah, it's got a kind of a decent wrapper, and just the fact that it's Christopher Columbus in front and it's inspired by him, and that it would piss off a lot of your little woke people and your stinking rotten DEI types and your liberals, your snowflakes. That right there makes it all the worthwhile, does
Yeah,
it
it
not?
does.
Oh yes. Okay, so while I light this bitch up, Bull, you tell me what the hell are you going to be smoking
All
tonight?
right, all right. I'm gonna smoke another CLE cigar tonight. This one here is an Asylum 13, and this one's called the Medulla Oblongata Maduro.
That's part of your brain.
Yeah, it's part of your brain.
Mhm.
I'm gonna smoke some brains. Hopefully, it'll give me some. um, yeah, this little morsel here is 100% Honduran recipe. Features thick notes of black pepper, leather, and espresso with earthy elements. So I think it's going to be a nice, flavorful stick. This is a 6x52 ring gauge. I think I paid around $9, $9 for it, so it wasn't too bad.
Too bad. Oh shoot, I forgot to say something.
Oh yeah. Hey, hang on. Let me finish up here.
Go right ahead.
This one here has a Corio binder and filler and a Maduro wrap, all Honduran tobacco. And I got the little looks like a maxi pad tip on it. Look at that wrapper, man. That's beautiful.
You really like those tampon style cigars, don't you?
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. It's beautiful. It's got a sheen to it. It's just freaking gorgeous looking stick, man.
Yeah. I like those Asylum deals.
Ooh, that smells good too. Oh yeah.
So this cigar, by the way, I should have smoked it last week, but I didn't. Okay. We came in last week. I came in with my wife to the local tobacco store, and the guy that owns it seen that I still have on my windshield written "just married." So we go in there. He's like, "Hey, congratulations! I see that just married, on your windshield." He's like, "So what do your wife and what do you guys smoke for cigars?" I go, "Well, she doesn't really smoke cigars all that much, just cigarettes. I do, and I got a podcast and everything, so I kind of smoke a wide variety of everything, especially on the show." And I said, "So, he's like, "Well, I want to get you a free cigar since you got married." And I, "Oh, that's great. Thanks." And he's like, "Well, what do you want to smoke?" I said, "Hey, surprise me." So he came up with the New World. So that's what I'm smoking.
That's a pretty cool little story
my little wedding gift from
Yeah.
the owner of that tobacco outlet, our local tobacco outlet.
On JFK, right?
John F. Kennedy Road.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
My story was I just walked in, looked around the humidor, saw this Asylum, and said to myself, "That's it, right there.
Mhm.
That's it."
I love Asylum cigars. They're really good. They're really good cigar, really solid.
Wow, it's got volumes of smoke too. I love it.
Yeah. I seen a picture of a guy smoking one of these New Worlds, and no shit. He had the ash this long. It was all the way down to the very end. I'm like, holy crap.
You gonna work on that tonight?
Oh, I don't know if I can do that. That guy had to be puffing on that thing and not even saying a damn word.
Yeah, he was beefing away. He was like,
yeah. I showed you a picture of a big ash I had one.
I know, that was pretty trip, man.
But that was me shutting my mouth and smoking away while just enjoying the weather, sitting there, just throwing a ball at a dog and not saying anything, just puffing away.
Right.
Now, on a show like this, it's kind of hard to get an ash like that when you're talking, and then the ash ends up dumping in your lap or on your laptop, and then here I got a big mess.
Yeah, I know. I moved my keyboard further away because I kept dropping my ashes right in the keyboard. It's like, son of a bitch, what the hell?
Well, I don't like having a lap full of ash either, right?
Yeah, I don't either. That's why I got kind of a buffer of my table in front of me. So it's, part of it will go on my lap. The other part will be on the table. So I'll be all right. So tonight, we're going to start out with the mass shootings. And are these about? Is this about a gun grab agenda, or what do you think, Tig?
Absolutely. Folks, let me tell you something. I hate to say false flag because people get all angry and stuff. Oh yeah, yeah, they would never fake that, or oh, there's no such thing as, this, that, or the other, blah 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 blah. Here's the thing, folks. You know what the initial story of the Minnesota one shooting was? I hear this all the time in these initial stories, and then they quiet it down. Multiple shooters, multiple shots being fired. Why is there always a second shooter? And there is, and they never say there's a second shooter, but there is, because there's multiple shots fired or multiple shooters. Just like in the Las Vegas building, they actually had video footage at time. One guy, how did one guy bring like the 20 some guns that he had in suitcases in a hotel undetected? And then when they seen the shots being fired on that concert that time, there was one shot coming from one area, and then you could see a flash from above, higher up on a floor, from another, coming from another rifle. There's always two shooters, and I'll tell you why. Because they use a patsy for one, and then they use the actual shooter for two. And you know what? Don't tell me, people, that the government cares about your children, about school children, about anybody's children. When it comes to their New World Order agenda to get rid of the guns, they use this all the time for mass shootings, and they don't care if they kill kids. That's called collateral damage. They'll shoot up the place, not necessarily aiming, just shooting towards children. If they end up killing them, they end up killing them. They don't care. They're trying. And now you can disagree with me all you want. You have that right. But they are trying to push this get rid of the guns thing, because the first thing that happens when something happens like this is they're real quick, the politicians, to jump right on the air and say, get rid of the assault rifles, get rid of the guns. And have you noticed lately, folks, well, and we can go there, that most of your shooters lately have been have identified as trans, non-binary. That shows there's a great mental illness in this country.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, they may be a shooter, but they're not the only shooter. I think this is in on a team effort, and they always have a patsy, because just like even in JFK Jr.'s assassination, don't tell me it was one guy, because it wasn't. There was multiple shooters that day. And also, have you noticed lately that the mass shooters always either off themselves or they're killed? And then you hear nothing about them. You see nothing more about them ever again. How come none of them end up a day in court? How come we never hear about them going to court and see them going to court or anything like that? Imagine that. And then, it's easy to come up with victims, a couple of victims, a few victims, and then take some child's face and post it up there, and then find out later that, yeah, that child died, but they died a while ago.
Yeah.
So, and then people laugh and say, oh, well, Alex Jones type of shit you're talking, and, crisis actors and stuff like that. Well, let me tell you something, folks. They actually have ads about crisis, wanting actors to go over crisis situations, shooting situations. So there's a whole lot of stuff that goes in this. I'm not saying there isn't.
Well, wasn't David Hogg? Wasn't David Hogg a fucking crisis actor?
Yeah.
That piece of shit that was in the DNC there.
He so happened to be at a couple different shootings for some case. But anyway, it's like this. It's like, I'm not saying people don't get shot and killed. I'm not saying mass shootings don't happen, but your government's always behind it some fashion or some way. Your deep state, your should I say your three syllable agencies. I hate to say it, folks, but they are trying to get rid of our Second Amendment. They have never made a secret of this. Now you got Ilhan Omar saying, you got to get rid of the assault rifles and blah, blah, blah. Okay, Ilhan Omar is illegal. She shouldn't have been in the House. She shouldn't have been elected. She needs to be deported. This is a woman that considers the Somalian president her president first. She considers herself Somalian first. And I think it says somewhere in the Bible that you should never elect foreigners as your kings. So why do
Right.
we have foreigners? Some of those foreigners aren't actually legal citizens. They were handpicked out of the blue to come here to be part of our whole little, government type handpicked puppet government that we have. I mean, look at Obama. He's not a legal citizen. Don't tell me he's a legal citizen because he never was a legal citizen.
No.
This is what happens. We're not why don't we listen to the Bible that says don't pick foreigners. Don't have foreigners come over here and make them your kings. All right? Because they're not going to be loyal to your country and your country's people. Just like Ilhan Omar, that treasonous bitch, and Talib and all them. We need to get rid of them. They need to go back to where they came from. But I'm
Right.
kind of digressing here. The whole thing is, we know it's not the guns. It's never the guns. Okay. The good people in this country that are gun owners don't go around shooting up places. They never do. All right. It's always some whack job or some government op. It's always some operation. And, the first story ends up never being told again. And that's multiple shooters or multiple shots coming from different directions. That tells you right there wasn't just one shooter being involved. Okay, so then the shooter's father, supposedly this shooter who killed himself, turns out his father worked for 29 years as a top-level CIA Department of Defense contractor. Imagine
Tig,
that.
I'd like to know the serial numbers on those weapons that he had.
Yeah.
And I'd like to know where they were purchased, because I can almost put fucking money on it that they were given to him by our government or some sort of agency.
And you know what? Okay, they always use a patsy, and then all of a sudden they suddenly say, well, he killed himself. He killed himself. Really? I bet he didn't. I bet he's off somewhere, and I bet they don't even have a real name and a real face there. I bet they use some strange other face, which they always do, some strange person, and then that person pops up later in public, and you say, doesn't that
look familiar? Yeah.
Doesn't that look like a familiar face? I swear. Now some people have come up and said McVeigh's still alive, the Oklahoma City bomber.
They say he's an FBI agent.
Yeah. So, folks, do not trust your government. Do not trust your politicians. Do not trust the media. Everything's a stage. Everybody's an actor, and
We're in a big movie.
And everything is done to push an agenda of control and to take away your freedoms. It's always that way. And they don't care if collateral damage means a few kids. After all, most of them are behind sex trafficking, pedophilia, adrenochrome, adrenochrome, that's what it's called. Yeah, the Red Shoes Club, we've went over that before. Sorry, we live in a sick, dark world, and our so-called leaders, our so-called government, are sick corporate pieces of demonic trash. Yeah. Yes, they know that the only way they can get total control is if they have us hand over our guns, hand over our firearms.
And, they know that, we love our children, and it's just like, if they commit enough crimes against children that, we're going to try to do something about it. But,
people are going to cry about it.
I think, you saw those videos that have been floating around. I think I sent you 2 of them maybe about this, the manifesto, that fucking weirdo that just did this bullshit.
Don't they always have a manifesto? Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how that works out? And they always call it a manifesto. It's a manifesto. He left a manifesto. As if he's Karl Marx or something. Yeah, he left a manifesto. That's stupid nonsense.
Yeah.
Real shooters, a real person that goes out to kill somebody probably isn't even going to leave anything, a manifesto or nothing. He's just going to come out. And now they supposedly shooter, all right, was interviewed on the news, or not interviewed on the news. His coworker was interviewed on the news, a friend of his, a coworker, and the coworker said, oh yeah, he texted me that he might be doing something. He might not be living longer and all that stuff. Meanwhile, the so-called friend and coworker, his eyes were going all over the place when he was telling his story. You could tell he's not telling the truth, that it's made up bullshit. And then when they ask, oh, well, can we see the text? He's like, no, I don't feel it's right. I don't feel that he would think it's right. I shouldn't show the text. Okay, why? Why aren't you showing the text? Oh yeah, that's right, because you're full of shit.
Right.
And then if you do have a text, how come the FBI isn't confiscating your phone?
Right.
Uh-huh. It doesn't pass the smell test like none of these shootings ever does.
Right.
It's a big gun grab agenda is what it is. And I got news for these dirt bags, these
We're
high
on to
level
you.
deep state cabal. We have been on to you for a long time, and we are not giving up our Second Amendment. We will fight a new revolution before we give up our Second Amendment. We will die on that hill to save our Second Amendment.
Yeah, and remember, there's more weapons than there are fucking citizens. So,
And remember this. We know, us true Second Amendment people know, you've already done a great job of violating our Second Amendment for a very long time by eliminating full automatic weapons and also getting an agency called the ATF that's nothing but a gang for the government, bunch of thugs, to regulate firearms, which they have no right, no constitutional right to do because they're not legislators. We're waking up to your bullshit, this
right.
government, and we're not going to take it. We're never going to give up our firearms. And don't even think about using law enforcement, martial law, or the government or National Guard or whatever to go door to
Because that
door
just
and
gets nasty.
confiscating it, because there'll be blood all over the streets of America.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's going to make an international incident because everybody in the world's going to know about it. And you know what? It's not going to be pretty, folks. And I'll tell you one thing, there's a whole lot of veterans living out their lives right now that have plenty of firearms and they know how to use them. And all they want to do is live in peace. So I suggest the government doesn't try to pull their shit like they did, years ago, because it ain't going to work. I mean, we all saw Waco, Texas, the government's overreach. We saw Randy Weaver and Ruby Ridge. Okay, we know what the government's capable of, but that's just a few. And the fact of the matter is, if you go after everybody's firearms, you're gonna be in a world of hurt. It's not gonna end well for anybody, guaranteed.
Yeah, and I think deep down, I think they know this, and they want us
They can
to
try.
They want people to disarm themselves is what they wish for.
Remember Camel Toe Harris when she was campaigning for president? She wanted people to do a buyback thing where you could sell your guns to government. Yeah, that worked real well for Australia, didn't it? Now Australia doesn't have guns or gun rights. And during COVID, when they weren't wearing masks or complying, they were getting the shit beat out of them by cops, thrown in prison. You got to be kidding me.
But didn't they get something back though? I thought they got something back for weapons.
Maybe a hunting rifle, maybe a revolver, but they can't have semi-automatic AR-15s.
Oh no, I don't think they can have that.
They can't have semi-automatic handguns.
We do have some people that are listening to us down in Australia, so maybe if they want to send us a message,
chime in if you want.
Yeah, chime in. We would appreciate it.
Hey, you guys from the down under, if you want to talk about the firearms and stuff, and tell us what your laws are, what it's like in Australia right now, because I don't believe you all have the right to have semi-automatic firearms like your Glock 17s and your Glock 19s, and you probably don't have the right to have AR-15s either, because I know that buyback deal years ago kind of screwed you out of having any kind of gun rights.
Right.
And it showed in COVID because there was nobody that could resist any shutdowns at all,
Right. I lost my ash, man. I had a nice ash going. It was about an inch long, and all of a sudden it just went poof right down to my shit.
That's bound to happen on the show.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So this is an agenda, and you know what? These people have no right to holler about getting rid of the guns. And then that idiot mayor from Minneapolis, I think it was, that joke of a human being, after the gun shooting, he was trying to make trans people the victims.
Yeah, and that's, the only time he ever became relevant, because, during the fucking, the riots that they'd have, you would never see him on fucking TV.
Yeah, I
The
know.
guy was elusive and, he just hid.
It was okay to be violent back then, wasn't it? It was okay to burn shit down and all that
Yeah.
stuff and get violent and hurt people then. But one school shooting. Oh gosh, we got to do something. Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's just
You
that
hypocrite.
shows you the fucking weak and fucking, no backbone that these motherfuckers have.
And that governor, Tim Walz, Tim
Yeah.
Walz.
I hope he goes to prison, dude.
You know what? He just needs a beat down. He's a piece of shit. He's been called out a long time ago. If anybody from Minnesota's listening, y'all need to change your politics up there in Minnesota.
Yeah, get rid of the Somalis to start with.
Get rid of the Somalis,
deport
get
'em.
rid of the Muslims, get rid of the Tim Walzes, because you're turning into a clown show up there. Really, it's a disgrace.
And
You
it's
don't
a
even
beautiful
look.
state, man.
It's a very beautiful state, but you aren't looking so American anymore.
No, looking weak and pathetic.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of fucking, patriots up there, so I don't know what the fuck,
They're in the minority, I guess.
Yeah, it must be.
Probably from bringing all those fucking Muslims up there.
All right.
And illegals and Democrat douchebags.
Yeah, well, it's a mixture of things. It's,
Yeah.
like they said, you really can't, cut the head of the snake off and think that the problem's taken care of, because, it goes way deeper than that,
Yeah.
I mean, it starts at your local levels and it works its way right on up.
One more thing about mass shootings and that, especially in schools, because this seems to happen in schools a lot, doesn't it? Why do we say, oh, it's about the kids all the time? And the people that say it's about the kids don't seem to mind cutting little boys' penises off. They don't seem to mind pushing the transgender onto them. They don't seem to mind abortion on demand and stuff like that. And I'll tell you what, they don't mind the Epstein file being out there and all these kids having no justice whatsoever for the abuses that they had to undergo and that sex trafficking going on in children. They don't seem to mind that very much.
Right.
And then another thing with these shootings is this. If you want shootings, if actual shootings are actually happening in schools, why not you do something that takes a little common sense? Hire armed security guards to watch over the schools so that they can prevent these shootings from happening. Like veterans, retired law officers. How about that? Because, I've been knocking the corrupt government of Israel quite a bit lately. But one thing I could say good about Israel is their schools, they don't have school shootings. You know why? Because the staff members at the schools are allowed to have ARs and all kinds of automatic weapons to protect children from anything happening while school's in session. They're allowed to have firearms of their choice.
Right. And that's something I agree with too. I think, they got it down,
Allow this teaching staff, allow the school staff to carry firearms.
The only reason they don't is because it goes against, if they want to do some sort of a narrative, they want to do the gun grab, they can't do it.
That's just it. So you see, the fact is they don't really want the solution. They want to create the problem so they can take away your freedom. They don't want to actually have a common sense, practical solution. That's the way government always works, isn't it?
Right. And I'll tell you, Tig, they don't address the fucking real problem, and that is the mental illness. That is exactly what it is. It's not the weapons. Weapons are not carnal, so it is not the weapons. It is the actual mental illness.
Yeah, I lost my ash too now.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a mental illness, but I still say the government's behind a lot of these shootings too.
Yeah.
And so they're not addressing the problem. They just want to right away take away the guns. And I've made even statements online saying, hey, wait a minute, they're trained knife fighters could go through a concert, a school or whatever, wielding blades in their hands and cut up all kinds of people and kill them fast, wielding knives. People that know how to make explosives and bombs could do a lot of damage too. But that isn't the issue. The issue is always the guns, and it's always the AR-15s, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Specifics. Yeah.
Yep.
And you know what it is? That's the agenda, folks. That's not, they don't want to create the real solution. They want to blame the big black bad gun.
And Tig, those videos were too convenient,
Oh yeah.
And they let them play. I mean, they were on Facebook, I mean, they were on social media. So it was like, it was too convenient, to have this demonic, freak out there doing all this shit. Yeah. So, to me, it really, hits it at home that, this is a bullshit scam deal on America.
It is. It's always been that way. It's part of the New World Order agenda to disarm everybody, for total control.
Yeah. So, moving along here, flag burning order. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's a, direct, what do you call it? Impingement against your First Amendment?
There's a fine line on that.
Yeah, I know.
It's really tough, folks, especially me. I hate flag burning.
I do too.
I just as soon I'd like to just beat somebody down when they do it. Now, but the thing is I've seen some veterans do it just to prove a point, saying, hey, I fought for this flag. I fought for my country. And
I don't agree with it.
I have a right to burn the flag under my First Amendment constitutional rights. And that's what they say. And I have a hard time disagreeing with a veteran that wants to do it in his own yard as a demonstration.
And it's his own property,
his own flag. But if you're taking someone else's flag and burning it off of their property, if you're taking it off of federal property, state property, then that is punishable for jail time. If you're an illegal piece of shit demonstrating in the streets and you're burning our flag, you know what? You should get the harshest penalty against you ever. I don't care.
Right.
And if you burn the flag in the middle of a demonstration and there's people involved and they could get hurt or they're getting hurt, that's punishable. If you are doing a demonstration, a protest, and somebody walks by and maybe they're against what you're saying and they're holding their American flag to show their patriotism, and you rip that flag from them and you burn it, that's punishable because that's their property. Problem is, if you're taking your own flag and you're around where you're demonstrating it on film, but there's nobody around, nobody can get hurt, it's on your grounds or it's not on federal grounds or anything like that, then you kind of can say, well, that's kind of their First Amendment right to do that. Because we got to be careful not to step on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, folks.
Right.
We got to be very careful with that, because if you give an inch, they'll take a mile every stinking time.
Exactly.
So, like I said, it's really a tough call, but there is some cases where, they deserve the harshest penalty for burning the flag, but yet there is still that line where there is some freedom of speech there.
Right.
So I get it. One guy was a veteran, and one guy got arrested for actually in front of public burning the flag. But one guy was a veteran and he filmed it on his property saying, you know what I think of this? It's against my freedom of speech to tell me I can't burn my flag. He took his own personal flag and you could see it was fraying anyway.
Yeah.
So that's the proper way to get rid of a flag anyway, because it was old. But he went off and burned it just to say, hey, I fought for this flag. I can do what I want. It's my First Amendment right. So I'm not standing in the way of any veteran out there that fought in combat, especially the Purple Heart earners and stuff, that said, you know what, fuck this.
What about the Somali that takes the flag and burns it?
Somali ought to be sent out of the country, or put him in jail, beat him down first, put him in jail. Better yet, deport his ass.
What about an Antifa?
Don't allow him to come back. Antifa?
Yeah. What about an Antifa?
Well, I consider them a terrorist.
Somali. Yeah.
No, actually, I consider them. They're a gang. I think that what we should do is, when we have groups like Antifa, we should allow our groups, certain groups, to be able to confront them and stand their ground with them. Okay. Proud Boys
Take
got
it
a
to the
bad
train
rap.
station.
Proud Boys got a bad rap. Proud Boys were called racist even though the founder was not white. So, I'm sorry. You can't, you guys, Democrats, hypocrites forever.
Yeah.
Double standards forever. Okay. Yeah. Antifa is not worth a shit in my book. Black Lives Matter, BLM, not worth a shit in my book.
Hell no.
They're just a gang, basically. They're just a bunch of, protesters that aren't worth crap to me. They're
Yeah.
garbage. They have no cause, none.
Right. And they, they're doing terrorist activities. So, they're domesticated terrorists is basically what they are. And I wish Trump would come out and, say all these fucking groups are domestic terrorists.
What constitutional rights or what community causes are they actually doing that are positive for this country? That's what I want to know. Because I don't see nothing positive about these groups. At least when they came down hard, it was mostly Democrats in government because they hate freedom fighters. They came down against the Oath Keepers. Okay.
Well, didn't they throw the Arterio or whatever his name is in prison for a while after J6?
Yeah, illegally. No due process. Here's the thing. Oath Keepers, because they came down hard on the Oath Keepers. Now, you know what Oath Keepers was a group founded by present and former veterans and law enforcement members. Okay. And the whole emphasis was to protect the oath they took. And that was the oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Okay. That's all that group was. And they turned them into a big terrorist group and a treasonous group and said, oh, they should go to jail and all that stuff. Bullshit. They are what they were called. They are just what they're called. Oath keepers. They keep the oath they took. Okay. Right. They're veterans. They're former law enforcement. That's oath keepers. There's nothing wrong with oath keepers. Never has been. I don't care what the government says. They're full of crap. They're just pushing their stupid narratives again. They're always trying to deem the good guys as bad. That's what they're trying to do. They always try to call the opposite.
Yep. So, you okay with that, or you want to talk a little more about it?
Oh, I think we're pretty good. Anybody can stay tuned at any given time in any given podcast because we always defend our Second Amendment too.
Yeah.
And we always defend anybody that takes an oath and keeps an oath to defend the Constitution. And it doesn't matter. We may not like it. We may not like what somebody has to say or what they demonstrate as First Amendment. We may not agree with it. We might not like it, but everybody that is a actual citizen of this country, especially veterans who defended the flag and defended this country, we have a right to our First Amendment. We have a right to our First Amendment, whether we agree or disagree.
Right.
It's only the Democrats that think we don't have a right to our First Amendment because we don't speak their narrative. That's the way that is, of course.
Now, Tig,
they're commies.
How is that New World cigar smoking for you there?
Pretty solid, pretty consistent. Spice, I get a little spice. I'm getting a little espresso. It's a good cigar, staying well lit, burning real even. I lost my ash. I wasn't able to really maintain a good long ash, but it burns pretty even. It's pretty good. It's not a bad tasting cigar, so it's not choking me like it's not barnyard anything. And it's consistent, good smoke, good draw. Everything. It's really solid. It's what an $8 or $9 cigar really should be. Okay.
And with AJ Fernandez, you can't go wrong with any of his smokes, man. They're just the best. And I think with even that Esteli, Nicaragua area, the tobaccos are just fucking.
They're fantastic. Esteli, Nicaragua is fantastic.
Yeah.
And Karen Berger, she teamed up with AJ Fernandez. They're a very good duo when it comes to their tobacco. They know their stuff. So yeah, if I was going to say to people, if people ask me, the AJ Fernandez New World, it doesn't matter what, they come in many sizes. You got your Toros,
Yep.
your Robustos, your Torpedoes, they're all good. They're all solid. Okay. You're not going to go wrong with a New World cigar by AJ Fernandez.
Right.
How
Yeah.
is yours doing since
My
you lost
Asylum
your edge?
13, man, it is solid. I love these things. These are really good. If you see this cigar, pick it up, Tig. It's really bomb. I could taste the black pepper right away when I lit it up. Volumes of smoke, even all the way through. It's just volumes of smoke. I could taste a little bit of that leatherish, and I can also taste some of that earthy tones, but it's not barnyardish. It's just a nice even flavor.
I love Asylum. I love
Yeah.
Asylum. I've been smoking Asylum for a long time.
Yeah.
Off and on. I smoke it a lot. I mean, usually every month I'm smoking some sort of Asylum. I had one on the show. I had the Insidious, I think it was called.
Insidious, yeah.
Insidious. Yeah, that was a good one. That's got like a little skull on the label.
Yeah, I picked a couple of those up too. I was just like, they're inexpensive. They're like a $5 cigar. Yeah. So it's like, they're
$6, something like that, $6-7.
Yeah, so they're nice smokes, and they're Maduros, and they smoke well. They just have a good flavor tones to them, and I think they're excellent cigars. I mean,
Asylum's a good cigar. Asylum.
Yeah, CLE does an excellent job with their cigars, and it's kind of weird because I never really thought about it until I researched it a little bit, under CLE, and and then I had that one last on our last episode, and that was a really good stick too, and just excellent cigar company.
Yeah, I mean, very, very solid, very good cigars. Yeah, I had thought about getting a box of those Asylums at one point too, but
yeah.
I spent so much money. I spend so much money on cigars, getting a wide variety for a show and to smoke for my smoking pleasure, that I can't see buying a box anymore for one brand, one flavor. I just can't, because there's just too many out there that I like to choose from. So yeah,
it's kind of funny. I was looking at our podcast, where people were getting listened to from, and it's like we got these 4 down in Colombia that keep listening to us every episode. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's cartel or if it's or if it's a cigar manufacturer or whatnot, listening to us. And
well, if they have a love for cigars, that's all right.
Yeah. And we appreciate it, even if you are a cartel.
We don't know you, so we don't care. We just want the listeners.
Yeah.
Any of our listeners continue listening. We don't care if you disagree with us. We don't care if you are liberal or we don't like your politics or your religion or whatnot. If we don't know you, what we don't know ain't gonna hurt us. You just keep listening to us.
Yeah.
In fact, some people might not even agree with us. They might not like us, but they're just so curious to see what we're going to say next. Those are the kind of people I don't mind either. I mean, Come on, keep watching. I don't care.
Yeah, and visit our website at starsbarsandcigars.live. Down there, you can, go down and look through our different episodes. And hey, Tig, I did some little homework over here. Yesterday, I expanded our podcast platforms that we can choose from now.
Yeah,
I added a bunch of them. I added us on Pandora. I got us on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
stuff.
And with Apple, I didn't realize this, but with Apple, I guess if you get your podcast on Apple, they'll also put it on like Overcast, Pocket Cast, Castro, Podfriend, and Good Pods, which are, I believe, those are European podcast platforms.
That's good, because we want the Euro. We want the Euro ears. We want the Euros to listen to us.
Yeah, Stars, Bars, and Cigars.
Yeah.
And then I also added us to Listen Notes. which they have a pretty huge database of podcasts, and Podyssey is another one, and Deezer. So
expansion's good. Expansion's good. You
absolutely.
know, and I think on our on our website say, hey, if you want to be on our show,
just us. Click on it. We'll set up a time when
whether
you can come on board.
Whether you want to talk about politics, one specific issue, or you want to talk about your military career, or you want to talk just about cigars, it doesn't matter. Come on our show. Talk about what you want to talk about. We'll bring you on as a guest. We don't care. You know?
Absolutely.
A lot of people are camera shy, though.
Yeah, and you know the nice thing about this this platform, we're on StreamYard still. I haven't really gotten to figure out Restream, so I think I'm gonna just kaput that one, and I'm gonna be looking into possibly going into Rumble Studios. So we might end up, you know, switching gears and doing that yet. So
Rumble's a free speech platform.
Yep, it's awesome. So. And we are on YouTube and Twitch tonight. So, you know, if you get a chance, maybe listen to us over. Ooh, what you got there, Tig? Is that the Hulkster beer?
Real American beer. Hulk Hogan's beer.
What does it taste like? Is it
I know
the
liberals are going to hate this. Oh, you're drinking the racist beer. Yeah, right. Shut up.
Hey, brother.
He was born again. He became a Christian. Good stuff there.
Yeah, hey, brother.
He decided that Americans, when he created this beer company, according to him, he said Americans all like to share a beer together. A lot of beer drinkers out there, and it's a good way to unite people over a beer and stuff. He's got his signature on the back of the can and stuff. This beer has an incredible head on it. That foam is like crazy on the beer. You got to literally
Did you say head?
Yeah. Yeah, head, brother.
Head, brother.
Head, brother. Lots of good head. Anyway, this is, I'll tell you what. Okay.
I feel like I need to have one of those.
You can come on over and get one. Or you go over to Illinois. They're selling them.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. This beer is a light beer. Remarkably, anybody that knows me knows I don't like light beer. I really don't. I like full flavored beers like Old Style, Pabst Blue Ribbon, Heineken. Younglings is my favorite.
Yes.
And I still have a fridge full of Younglings. But this, for a light beer, folks, is a very flavorful light beer. Okay. That's why I bought it the first time around to support Hogan. He died. And I'm like, okay, libtards aren't going to buy it. They're going to boycott it. You know, all these people that hate Hogan are going to boycott it. And I figured, well, he's probably got some contributors, some people that bought into it. And we want to keep his memory perhaps alive. And we want to keep his beer company alive. Right. So I decided to buy it initially. And when I drank it, I was like, man, for a light beer, this is really good light beer. So I had to buy more light beer. I don't like light beer, but this beer that's light beer is good stuff. It actually has a taste to it.
Yeah, I'll take a Yuengling Black and Tan, please.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love Youngling anything, but
yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of light beer, but like I said, this real American beer for a light beer is really tasty. It's a good light, good beer. Speaking of that, there's a lot of suspicion on Hulk Hogan's death these days too.
Yeah, you were telling me a little bit about that. Wasn't the bride find some stuff that went down or whatnot?
I think they may have to question the bride and a doctor and everybody else that was by his side, because one day he was doing good, the next day he wasn't, and they were all there before he died. And here's the thing, a lot of people are saying, well, when he started going downhill, why didn't they call 911 and rush him to the hospital to have surgery?
Yeah.
And then it turns out the surgeon or whatever botched it and cut the nerve that makes it, that maintains the breathing and stuff. So there's a lot of questions that are going to come up on this death of his. There's a lot of suspicion behind it. And yeah, sooner or later, they're going to have to get to the bottom of this, because the man shouldn't have died. He was in great shape for a 71-year-old. He had a surgery. He did have health problems, correctly, but he was doing really good after that heart surgery. And then all of a sudden it turned overnight on him, basically.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of questions behind his death, and really he shouldn't have died. You know, some of those wrestlers that we grew up with in the late 70s, 80s, they're all dying.
Yeah.
Roddy Piper died too soon.
Well, and Bruce Willis, he's not doing so hot here either. I think he's probably going to croak here pretty quick.
Dusty Rhodes, he died, you know, and he was, you know, a youth.
Oh, you're talking wrestlers, yeah.
I'm talking wrestlers, you know, all these great wrestlers died. And it's funny because who would have thought that Ric Flair'd still be alive the way he lived fast all his life? He outlived Hogan. How the hell did that happen?
Right.
So yeah, a lot of them. And if you're talking celebrities, yeah, Bruce Willis is slipping. What's that singer? Phil Collins is on hospice.
Yeah, he's not doing so hot either.
No, he's kind of going down.
In fact, Paul McCartney just went to his hospital bed and, you know, sang a bunch of songs for him right at his bedside, you know, and I guess they're like real close, tight buddies, you know, and it's sad, man. It's really sad.
It is. A lot of people don't know that Phil Collins played with an 80s band, early 80s, actually late 70s, Genesis. Oh, yeah. Abacab was a great song. Abacab. Remember that song, Abacab?
Yeah, I do. You know, it's really funny you brought that up because that was like one of my first little like 33s that I bought, you know, when I had a record player.
Single songs? You had one on the front and one on the back sometimes, a song?
Yep.
Yeah, a little,
one song on each side. I think it was like 75 cents or some shit like that.
Time. Then it went up to $1 or something. And that,
yeah. Man, I always loved going to like Zayre's or something and you know, just looking through the
most of our listeners don't know what Zayre's is, but that's an old school store, man. That's an old school store right there.
It's older than Kmart, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Zayre stores. Yeah, it had a little of everything in it. You know, but my favorite song he ever did, and it's one of my favorite all-time songs, is In the Air Tonight.
Yeah.
And it speaks volumes. And some of you veterans will actually can relate to that song In the Air. If you listen to In the Air Tonight, if you listen to the lyrics, you can relate to it. Or if anybody's ever, you know, well, just listen to the lyrics.
Yeah.
You'll understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's a good song, and it relates to a few people. I spoke to a Vietnam veteran who used to go to this bar I used to go to, and I used to talk to him all the time. I'd buy him a drink because I love the Vietnam vets. I love talking to them. I love them dearly. Those guys trained me. I served with them right on the tail end of their career. And he used to play that song in the bar all the time. He'd slip his money in there and he would buy in it. He loved In the Air Tonight. And yeah, I was like,
that's a timeless classic, to be really honest.
Yeah, and he came in and he was sitting down one day and he was drinking it, and he's like drinking, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute. I walked up to him, I go, come on, aren't you going to play our song? He's like, yeah. What song are you referring to? In the Air? Oh shit, I forgot. And he gets up and he fucking goes and he plays it. I go, yeah, there we go. yeah. So yeah, people are dying. Our era. The stars, the music stars, the entertainers, all that, they're dying off.
Yeah.
Makes you feel old. Makes you feel
people
old.
we grew up with, you know.
They're dying. So,
and I don't want to say idols because it's not the right.
No, we don't idolize anybody. I don't idolize anybody. Nobody's my hero except for maybe Christ alone, because that's my savior. But I don't have heroes or idols. But I do have people I did appreciate growing up with. I you know, Hulk Hogan is like, you know, he's just one of those people, one of those figures. You know, Bruce Willis, you know, nobody will, you know, Die Hard movie will be forever remembered.
Christmas time was always like, what old Bruce is up to next, you know, or what was his name in the movie?
Oh, I forget what he was named.
Yeah.
John something. John, it was an Irish name. Remember, he said he was going to do an Irish
Yeah.
chick.
It's like on the tip of my fucking
John
tongue.
Mick. I don't know. Come on, people.
McAllister, wasn't it?
Something like that.
No,
Somebody
yeah,
come on,
something like
chime
that.
in on it. What was John's name? What was his last name?
Somebody in chat chirping.
The character's name from Die Hard. Yeah. But Phil Collins, another one. He's a staple for the 80s. You know, when you think of 80s music, his name will pop up forever. So growing up as kids, teenagers, you know, so yeah. So got to bring
John
that up.
McClane.
John McClane, there we go. And he did his Irish jig at the end. You know, barefooted.
I'll do the Irish jig.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of corny in a way, but it is kind of cool.
Everybody loves that movie.
Yeah,
Not everybody, but a lot.
Not everybody. And then Hans Gruber, the evil bad guy, he's gonna blow the big old building up.
He goes down as one of the biggest villains ever in movies.
Yeah, Alan Rickman played him.
Yeah. Okay.
He died in 2016, so he's gone.
Okay, we got another big topic to go over and a little time to do it.
Yeah, so you want to talk about the rule book for understanding the New World Order?
Folks, the rule book, well, this is the rule book for understanding the world. Then we'll get into New World Order real quick.
All right.
I'll read it all. The rule book for understanding the world. Number 1, all the politicians are paid actors who read their scripts and decide nothing. Number 2, all the countries are for profit corporations owned and operated by one central ruling group. Number 3, government is a parasitic force or thought form which has to consume public energy, to feed itself. Number 4, all fights between countries are scripted, pantomime, in order to organize the mass consumption of public energy. Number 5, to not become food for this parasitic force, you'll have to become brave enough to face these facts. And number 6, all conventional institutions in our society are rewarded for feeding you and your children into this sacrificial energy volcano. Very well written. Which gets me to this week's top social media, according to me, my opinion. If it starts with, studies suggest, experts are saying, scientists believe, according to research, majority of people believe, polls indicate, anonymous sources say, or national security or public safety, it's a lie.
Yeah.
So now the ETA for the New World Order, agenda is 2028. Remember, not to be confused with last week's podcast when I said that was Project 2028 for the Democrats, which they kind of go hand in hand.
Right.
First and foremost, the end game. Global technocratic governance, aka scientific dictatorship, in which every citizen will be under constant surveillance.
AI.
Constant surveillance. Does that ring a bell, folks? By artificial intelligence, a slave to the ruling elite. The method: infiltrate all government institutions, collapse the system from within, ensure that nothing works as it should, create division. That ring a bell, folks?
Yeah.
Division and distractions, mind you, to cause arguments and convince the public that, quote, democracy has failed, thus preparing them to accept the, quote, new system. The trap. Introduce the concept of sustainable development, something our town mayor used to like to say all the time.
Yep.
We need to get rid of him, folks. And you know who I'm talking about, you local people that live in my city. The trap is to introduce the concept of sustainable development, climate change, net zero, and use it to convince the naive public that the planet will die unless we allow the quote experts to make all important decisions. Stargate. Stargate is the name of the machine required to monitor millions of people simultaneously. 20 powerful data centers currently under construction, each running AI, artificial intelligence,
That'd be a shame if those burnt down, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be a shame to destroy them. But they're all running AI programs to operate all digital systems, including smart cities, digital IDs, central bank, digital currencies, carbon allowances, 15-minute cities, and social credit scores to monitor your personal behavior all the time and everywhere you go. Does that ring a bell? Some of y'all need to wake up.
What is the answer? What is it going to take for people to wake up?
I don't know what it's going to take for them to wake up, but I'll tell you what. Y'all got to resist. Do not comply to this nonsense. You know, in some places in Europe, they're starting to tear down 5G towers. They're starting to resist a lot of this crap.
Yeah,
AI.
I think on our next episode, we're going to bring that up again. So, because I came across a few things I want to talk about on that. So let's talk about that on our next episode.
Will do. You just write that down, write down all the stuff you know and want to talk about, and then we'll get back to it. Okay, so do you have any news with that?
I don't. But I can get some real quick, like.
Okay, I'll talk a little bit. Hey, MAGA. Republican Senator Mitch McConnell slammed MAGA supporters, says the movement is, quote, completely wrong. Hey, Mitch, why don't you start picking out your casket, because you need to be done one way or another. I'm not saying anybody needs to hurt you or do anything, but you need to retire. All right.
Get the
You're
fuck
an old,
out.
you lousy
Just
rhino
get the fuck
traitor
out.
Fart. Hey, how's that Chinese communist wife of yours doing? Yeah, you commie sellout, you China CCP sellout. That's why you don't like MAGA, isn't it? That's why you don't like true conservatism, true
I'll tell you what.
patriotism. You are nothing but a treasonous piece of crap. Now,
Hey,
that's something?
What? Yeah. Yesterday there was a Verizon outage. That was on the West Coast.
There's going to be a lot of outages coming up. Sorry.
Yeah. So I did come across a really good tidbit here. 350,000 plus Australian patriots took over 6 cities today, demanding their country back. That's why we've been getting a bunch of people down in Australia listening to us. Hey, keep listening to us down under. Hey, you're listening to the right people here.
Spreading the news. Spread it. Spread our podcast.
Yeah.
Australia, we want you to listen.
Tell your friends about us too.
Yeah.
Share it.
And don't comply with your government. They're corrupt. All right. Don't comply with the New World Order agenda. Start fighting back.
People are waking up.
Come on, Aussies. We know that you have that fighting spirit in you. It's always been in your blood. It's always been in your blood. Get on it, man. Get on it.
Stars and bars.
You betcha.
And cigars.
Iowa Republican Rhino.
Tim, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Is there any Australian cigars?
Not that I know of. I have never seen them.
So that's a question for our listeners down in Australia.
Maybe they need to get on the chat and let us know about that too.
Or just send us a message, and even on our website.
But as I was saying, Iowa Republican Senator and Rhino and traitor of the Second Amendment, Joni Ernst won't seek re-election. So, the dang Democrats are going to pour their crappy Soros money into that to try to win that seat. All I got to say for Iowans is that whoever it is after the primary, whoever it is that's going to run for her seat, vote 100% for them. Get out and vote. Save your state. All right. Vote red until you're dead, because you do not want a Democrat taking over that seat in the House. Also, there's some other seats opening up across the country too. You can't afford to allow the Democrats in, folks, because it's I know we don't have a choice. It's two wings of the same bird.
Yeah.
They're both parties are corrupt. But if you really, when it comes down to it, folks, you just don't want Democrats to get the majority. They're up to no good.
Yeah.
If they get the majority, it's the end of this country completely.
Yeah.
Then you got Maxine Waters and the Dems in the swamp calling to remove Trump via the 25th Amendment. Maxine Waters needs to kick rocks. She's a goofy, they don't call her Mad Max for a reason. I mean, she's a nut job. And the 25th Amendment, come on, really? Okay, is he mentally unstable? Is he really? Trump is? He's a lot of things, but he's not mentally unstable. In fact, you, Maxine Waters, and your Democrat cohorts are mentally unstable. You're all mentally unstable. In fact, there's some woman in Congress keeps painting her hair, can't make up her mind whether it's going to be purple, green, or orange, or pink, or whatever. That goofy lady, I don't know, I forget what her name is, but she's
what other fuck needs to get the fuck out is Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, fuck a duck Chuck. Fuck a duck Chuck. That asshole needs to
get out.
Yeah, get the fuck out, you old man. They talk about Grassley having to get out because he's 90-some years old. Well, let me tell you something. Grassley is in the right state of mind. He doesn't have dementia. And I'll tell you what, maybe he needs to get out, but so the rest of you idiots like Pelosi and Schumer and Mad Maxine and the list goes on of you old kooks and that guy that was kicked out of the State of Union or whatever, that
listener Betsy said,
waving his cane.
Betsy said that the Verizon outage was SOS only.
Yeah, well.
So even still,
Democrats are nuts. Liberalism is a mental illness, and as much as we don't like certain Republicans because they're corrupt, also because they're selling out to the same corporate entity and the same big shots, the fact of the matter is, Marjorie Taylor Greene is probably the best one there. She best represents us. And so if we can keep people like her in office and get rid of some of these rhinos and vote red to get rid of Democrats, because we can't afford Democrats at all to be in the majority of this country. Now they're screaming about, they don't like, what was that? Gavin Newsom's being a real crybaby bitch lately, like he is.
Newsome.
Here's the thing too, gerrymandering. They don't want gerrymandering. Well, it worked so well for you Democrats when you wanted to redistrict and take over the majority. And now you're saying they're trying to rig elections and you want to do away with it. Come on. You know what? Turnabout's fair play. You Democrats are always about hypocrisy and the double standard. Well, you know what? That's the thing. I know you people, a lot of people out there are saying we're true conservatives, patriots, but we don't like these rhinos and we don't like what the Republicans are doing. We see them as weak and they're siding with Democrats. I get it. But you know what? What choice do we have? Are you really going to vote Democrat this time? I know the Democrats are going to get out in full force this time out of hatred alone for Trump and hatred alone for conservatives and MAGA, and they're going to get out in full force and they're going to vote 100% because they want to take the midterms. And they are going to have their George Soros creep who needs to be in prison, and they're going
on that.
They're going to pay a lot of money to take these seats, and we need to stop them.
Yeah,
plain and simple. We need to stop them. What else? Al Gore's back on says God wants us to combat global warming. Al Gore, not only are you a liar and a heretic, but now you're lying about God. Okay. God built this earth as a self-sustainable earth. If you look at the Bible and prophecy, we are not going to die. The earth is not going to die from global warming. It's not. You're a liar. You're a piece of crap. Al Gore, go the hell away. You've got a mental illness. Nobody wants to hear your crap. Period.
Right.
Nobody wants to hear your crap at all.
Oh yeah, happy Labor Day, folks.
Happy Labor Day, everybody. Yep.
And according to America First News, they're saying that gas prices hit a 5-year low at $3.15 per gallon.
Actually, they went lower than $3.
My biggest question is, why is diesel still the fuck up in the $4 range? There's no reason for it. Diesel is actually a fucking byproduct of when you make gasoline, so it should actually be cheaper.
Yeah, and if you want your truck drivers to continue delivering your supplies, which you so desperately need, you should push for lower diesel prices, because most of the trucks are running on diesel.
Yeah.
By the way, Trump revoked the Secret Service protection for former Vice President Camel Toe Harris. Rightfully so. She is a communist. Rightfully so. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's some really good news.
Remember
right
how
there.
They made a big stink about it when they took away Trump's?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm glad he's continuing to do that. Bill Gates.
Yeah, what the hell?
Trump just met with Bill Gates. President Trump, you need to stop meeting with the likes of Bill Gates. Stop. He's talking about
fucker in jail.
Talking about health initiatives. This guy deserves to be tried for crimes against humanity. And now he's talking about new vaccines, new flu vaccines. President Trump, you need to not visit anymore with this dirtbag. Don't associate yourself with this dirtbag. Do not associate yourself with anybody that wants to create new vaccines. And you brag to this day about warp speed. Warp speed was nonsense. It's bullshit. And everybody knows that COVID vax was a killer. And you need to stop right there associating yourself with these kind of scumbags behind.
Yeah, what about Fauci? Why isn't that dude in cuffs?
Fauci should be hung for treason and crimes against humanity, along with his buddy Bill Gates. And with that, this was a post that I think is hilarious. Bill Gates says cow puts off more pollution than cars. Cows do. Puts off more pollution than cows. Okay, Billy, I'll lock myself up in a garage with
That's that goofy shit AOC was spreading around too.
Yeah.
That fucking cow farts are
listen to this. This is kind of hilarious. Okay, Billy. Whoever posted this. Okay, Billy, I will lock myself up in a garage with a cow tonight, overnight. And you lock yourself in a garage with a running car overnight. And we will meet for breakfast in the morning to discuss the results.
Yeah.
Booyah.
Booyah. I'd like to see that one.
That was a great statement by somebody who posted that on Facebook. I loved it so much that I had to share it. I posted it. Yeah, I shared it.
I thought you did.
Somebody created it though, and whoever created it, that was funny. That was hilarious, man.
That was.
Yeah, exactly. If cows are more dangerous than cars, lock yourself up in a garage and do the test. See what happens. See the next morning who walks out of that garage after spending the night with a cow versus a car. See, Bill Gates is a liar. Bill Gates is a criminal. Crimes against humanity. Bill Gates he's the reason for the spread of AIDS. He's the reason why people have been dying of the COVID shot. Him and Fauci both need to be tried as criminals, and they need to be given the harshest penalty as criminals, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
So I'm done with my spiel for the night.
Excellent. So, any parting words, Tig?
Same old, same old, same old. All right. If you don't have Christ, your soul's not prepared. If you are not suspicious or a little paranoid, you are not prepared.
All right.
Everybody have a good Memorial Day, or not Memorial Day. Sorry. Everybody have a good Labor Day and have a good week. That's all I have to say there.
My parting words are, I'm going to go back to an old one. It's liberalism is a mental
illness. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Don't deny it. Don't deny it, folks. I know you libtards out there want to deny it. And also you liberals that are Christians, you can't be Christian and liberal at the same time. It clashes with the belief system.
Yeah.
Hate to tell you that, but you better read your Bible then.
Exactly. Thank you for following Stars, Bars, and Cigars. And thank you for watching us on Rumble, YouTube, Twitch, and listening to us on iHeart Media, which is our #1 podcast platform. Like I said, we just got on Pandora, Apple Podcasts, which I'm thinking is probably going to smoke iHeart. Stay frosty.
Stay frosty, troops.
And also, catch us on either Listen Notes, Podyssey, Deezer, Pandora, Apple, or Spotify, Podbean, Podchaser. There's a ton of them.
You name it.
Listen to us.
Get on our website.
Yeah, get on our website. You can see all of our different episodes there. Or actually, you can listen to them there. Or if you want to go to the Rumble, click, just go there and follow us there. Share us with your friends. And we'll see you next Sunday. Thank you for listening.
Stay frosty, stay salty.
Yes. Adios.
You've been listening to Stars, Bars, and Cigars. Two conservative vets telling it like it is. The rally cry for those who appreciate bold truths served with a side of mayhem.
Roger, outside, decide before copies all. We'll keep them sweating until we see Butcher 3. Out.
We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And if you didn't, well, why are you still here, snowflake? We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, follow us on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and hear our precious voices on all the streaming services. Until next time, keep the spirit of freedom roaring.